What the fuck is up, everybody? I'm trying to beat my record for longest time it takes me to go without swearing, and so far my shortest time is about 2 seconds. So now I'm trying to make it to where I get the first word out is an F bomb, or something worse. Like, eventually it's just gonna keep skyrocketing all the way until I cross a line, and then people are not going to be able to enjoy whatever I'm doing because the first thing they're gonna hear is something they didn't want to hear. Here. But on that note, I'm gonna start this out with a reason why I don't trust the American education system. Number one, I don't remember what the word predicate means. I came upon this about 3 days ago, and I was thinking about putting it in one of my earlier videos. I seriously don't know what it means. I don't remember what it means. I know the education system drilled it into my head for the longest period of time. I don't remember what the word predicate means. I know what an adjective is, I know what a verb is, I know what a noun is, I know what an adverb is. I don't remember what a predicate is. And you know what? I don't think it's going to affect my life very much. It's very specific to whatever they thought I was going to do in my life, but guess what I'm not doing with it? Number one, figuring out what the fuck predicate means. I mean, I'm not spell checking a lot of stuff, which I feel like is probably it's both my fault and the technology that I have's fault because I'm stupid and I don't remember how to. However, if I misspell something and autocorrect doesn't spell it right, then I blatantly overcompensate with how stupid I'm going to spell it. So when I send it to my friends, they think it's a joke, but I'm actually really stupid. Which is actually a good segue into what I was gonna do for this video, the guide on how I fuck with my friends. I don't fuck my friends because most of them are gross, except for Tyler. But that's a different story altogether. Now, what I do is I don't do this because I don't like any of them. I do it because it's pretty funny when they try to quote me on something and then I tell them that they're wrong. If any of my friends see this video, just remember, think back to everything that I've ever told all of you and then try to, like, get that in. Then try to, like, remember stuff that I've said. Because there's a good chance I was fucking with you for the longest period of time. Like, I convinced one of my friends, it doesn't matter who, he could be the guy who had the greatest grades or he could be the stupidest one, but regardless, I've tricked everybody. There's my friend who recently left for the military. He had he asked me to recommend him something before he left so he could go out on a high note of whatever I told him. To which I responded with a show that I said was great. I gave him some of the highlights of the show, some of the reasons why I liked it, the actors, and everybody that was in it that I found pleasant in their performances, and why I said it was a great show. And then I dropped him off at his house because we were hanging out, and he doesn't have a license because his eyes are a little fucked up. So I drove back to my house, and then I sat in my bed and nearly pissed myself laughing because I had never seen the show, and he binged it the entire time, and all I did was look up Wikipedia about it. It was some of the funniest shit I'd ever done, and he's not going to know about it because the Marine Corps doesn't exactly let you have internet while you're in any of the training situations. Speaking of military, Santee. I don't know where I got this from a friend of mine who actually did leave for the military once, and then he came back due to not exactly being all there, and they kicked him out, but he got to keep some of the shirts. And these shirts are fucking soft, and I love them to death. They all fit me too. But if you want to, that's how I fuck with my friends a lot of the times. I'll tell them to do something, and then when they're so proud of themselves and built up on this whole thing, like, guess what I did? Now me and him have something in common. I just made you do something that you didn't need to do. It's a weird way to fuck with people, but it's really fucking funny. I told my friend that one of my favorite bands of all time was My Chemical Romance, and other than like their two most popular songs, I haven't heard anything by them. Like my only exposure to them was what I've heard on the radio, and other than that, I haven't heard like anything by them. I know a lot of Fall Out Boy songs, and I know a lot of Panic at the Disco songs because those are the big three when it comes to like that's emo music. No, it's not. Listens to Welcome to the Black Parade with a Tim Burton t-shirt while they have like Sally and Jack tattooed from that one fucking claymation movie that every emo person watches 16 times. And we've all been through that phase. If you're born between 1998 and 2002, you can go fuck yourself. No, because that's when every emo was born ever. Everybody within those ages at some point has said the words, "They don't understand me," and then went into their non lit room and hid under their blanket. People born within that age have, at least at one point, unironically thought that the people dressed in the Matrix didn't look absolutely fucking ridiculous. They thought they looked cool for a good period of time. And then they turned about 17 and thought, holy shit, that did that not. That, that did not age well. I should probably not have fanned over them for the longest period of time. But seriously, fucking with my friends is some of the most fun things that I can do. I talked one of my friends into doing something to where they had to listen to an entire album from a band that I hadn't really listened to a lot. I heard like two of their songs and I liked a lot of the stuff that they did and I liked the person who they were because I saw them on a podcast. And then after saying like he said he never heard them before, so I sent him an album and I told him he had to listen to the entire thing or else I wouldn't read one of the books that he wanted to give me. Spoiler alert. It's this. I'm not proud of having this in my room. But I'm still gonna read it because RedSon is not a pussy and he will not back down from a challenge. Doesn't matter what the challenge is. That's a weird statement to say over the internet, but you know, gonna do it anyway. He said I had to read those. In exchange, I recommended him some things. One of them was an album from a band. I'm not gonna say the band because the people who like the band are pretty adamant about how much they like the band. So I sent him that and I said, if you don't listen to this, then we can't be friends. And then when I sat down, I'm like, that was a fair trade-off. And then I sat for a second and thought, I don't think I've ever heard that album. And then I once again nearly had a stroke laughing so hard. And then like on my way to work the next day, I just sat there and listened to the album in the car. It was that band was. I made a good choice on blindly telling somebody to listen to something because I hadn't heard it before, and it was fucking awesome. Now, there's other things that I do. I do it for TV shows that I haven't seen or finished. Sometimes I'll go all the way. I feel like I fuck with one friend more than I do anything else. Because this is the same guy. I told him he had to watch Power Rangers because as a kid he thought he was too cool for Power Rangers. In which case he did not watch it. To which I watched it and then replied with the words, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" He then had to watch the five series that I watched when I was a kid, but he started watching way more. And again, I think what he said what he was supposed to get from the whole thing was you should watch the entire series, but these are the highlights of the series. That was kind of fucking stupid. because I only recommended the shows that I watched. I'm not gonna watch all of the Fate series and then tell you that these are the best series. If I watch an entire thing, so are you. I'm not gonna watch all of Naruto and tell you that these specific episodes are worth watching. No, I said you watch the whole damn thing in your chair. On that note, I skipped over a shit ton of Naruto. The original Naruto. I'm still working my way through Shippuden. Because the first Naruto has an 80 episode filler. There's 500 fucking episodes or something like that. And there's a good chunk of it that's just 80 episodes. I'm not watching 80 episodes that have nothing to do with the story. They don't even build up anything. They just a reason to show off characters that you couldn't figure out. There was only one character that I actually gave a shit about throughout the entire filler arc, and I don't remember his name. Nothing happened that pushed onto the story. What could you could have cut all of that out and none of it would have made a difference. But if you want to, there's a special way to fuck with your friends. I do it for TV shows, I do it for music. Like, I'm a good actor. Not to sound like super cocky, but I'm pretty good at it. If I want somebody to believe what I'm saying, they'll believe it. Or I'll be able to play into how stupid the person is. Because I like to think of myself as a good judge of character, but I'm also a good manipulator of character. And it's funny as hell to, like, invoke certain things. The best way to do it is remember what this person's personality is like. And then subvert whatever their personality is by exploiting it with things that they might think are cool. Like, you should, like, saying, you should watch Adventure Time. They're probably going to respond with, like, oh, that kid's show? I don't think I'm really into that sort of thing. Normal people can be like, alright, that's fine. You're good. It's not for you. But that's not a good response. If you say, it's okay, it's not really my thing. Alright, it's not for you. You've heard the name and you have a generalized description of what the genre is. Everybody should give a 5-episode watch through. 5 episodes. Once you sit through, because if you do 1 episode, pilots are often trash. Looking at you, Steven Universe. That was a shitty ass pilot. Then there's, oh, well, you gotta watch the first season. No, the first season is too damn much. You want to watch all of the first season of Breaking Bad? You only need the first 2 episodes and be like, this is an amazing show. I've watched Breaking Bad twice. And holy shit, I love that show. I've seen El Camino. I haven't seen Better Call Saul. But if you go down that rabbit hole of like, well, how many is too many? My rule is 5. 5. Done. That's it. Because 1, shitty pilots are a very big occurrence amongst TV shows. 2 episodes, that's still like that's still a way of like, you have the bare minimum, you're starting a show, and you need to, like, see where it goes from there. Because imagine if somebody only watched the first episode of, let's say, The Flash, where they don't exactly have the biggest budget, they have a whole bunch of no-name characters that take a while to build up, and you try to... and you see the CGI that isn't exactly great. Then you watch 5 episodes in, you're like, alright, they have the basis of what the costume is going to be, they kind of understand the powers, they're a little bit more in tune with them, you start noticing there's a malicious feeling in the background that's always coming towards you. There you go. Perfect setup for that. Now, some shows are very short, and they don't exactly have, like, most seasonal anime, or most anime in general, doesn't exactly have too many episodes. Like, if you wanted to tell somebody you should watch Hellsing Ultimate, not the original Hellsing. The original Hellsing's not bad. Hellsing Ultimate is objectively better. Studio Madhouse knows what they're doing. and they did a really good job making it. If it's only, I think it's like 13 episodes, 13, 13 or 15, one of those numbers. But if you get through 5, you're like, you're already mostly halfway through. Oh, why not just like continue on? Though anime is a weird subgenre. If it's a normal TV show that has multiple seasons and is pretty much American made, which is a weird thing to say because I know there are shows in other countries, but if you're watching a show in America, or like at least on the normal scale of like what a show is, it's not a niche group of people who understand something and really like it. But if you go by normal standards of shows, 5 episodes is what it takes. Anime, 2 episodes. Anime is much shorter than is mostly it's much shorter, except for like a few that go on for insane amounts of seasons and have multiple spin-offs and crazy shit like that. But 2 episodes should be able to draw you in. I'm saying 2 episodes because even on insanely long anime, it still functions the same way. Hey, like One Piece. I wanted to watch more One Piece after the second episode. Mostly because I like Zoro. He's really goddamn cool, and I want to see more of him. And his second episode was where he was introduced, and they had this little dichotomy against each other, and it worked really well. Naruto, much slower. They still had a gimmick going on, but I was kind of interested. I wanted to get through it. Dragon Ball Z, it's a classic. Everybody loves it. Everybody talks about it. It's one of everybody's childhood, but not really on their favorites. You'll get hyped watching it, but you're not exactly going to put it up there with the philosophical works of some of the best around. There are, like, trying to think of like shows that get really good after 2 episodes. The Walking Dead started out really well with the first episode kind of building everything that's happening, the second episode getting you introduced to a few of the characters. I've seen all The Walking Dead except for the latest season because I watched them on Netflix, and I have finished the comics, and it's kind of hard to get into the show again after you know the ending of the comics and how like far they've gone. Certain characters are like, I'm leaving because of my scheduling, or I'm leaving because of this. Like it's a, I don't, dude, just be in it for the long haul. I'm doing it for college. Like, dude, what are you like, 17, 18? Let's say you're 19 at most. You can do college whenever the fuck you want. You're a very prominent character in the show, and you still have a good while before the show ends. You're good. Go to college after you're done. It's very simple. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, and certain characters left because they didn't want to be a part of the show anymore. Fuck you. Stick with what you're doing, even if you have to half-ass it. Doctor Who did a really good job with it because they built up this character as it moved on. Even though I haven't seen the classic Doctor Who, I started with the... I started with Christopher Eccleston. As soon as I forget the numbers for it, but I'm not going to say them because fuck that. I started with him, second episode, really well set. Let's say, or no, the 5th episode in, really well set up, and I wanted to do it. Second episode into Breaking Bad, I was hooked immediately. First episode, I was hooked immediately. 5 episodes in, I'm like, this is something I'm going to get invested in more than once. Let's try to think. Any other shows? I've seen a lot of kid shows. Like, as whatever age I am right now, adult kind of, fuck that. I don't like that. I'm 19. Whatever the fuck that means. I could still be on the teen tag on Pornhub. Guess where my next channel's gonna be? No, I'm kidding. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't think you'd want to see this on Pornhub unless you're going into that deep shit. But there are certain, like, animated shows are very special because they often don't know what they're doing very early on because they had to sell the fact that they're entertaining kids before they're entertaining everybody. And there are shows that, like, start weak but then build up to being some of the best. Steven Universe. I haven't seen the newest season. It was a really good show. It started out kind of shitty, and then once the first season was done, it built up further and further and did really well. Actually, it was like halfway through the first season, and then after that, they pushed back past. Adventure Time, once again, started out as a very kid friendly show. They started addressing more things that you wouldn't expect the show to get into. Ooh, you actually start getting invested in everything. But 5 episodes is a good way to get into, like, alright, it's just stupid fun. I'll get into that. And then they push past your expectations after that. Over the Garden Wall, another one, insanely short, fan-fucking-tastic. I love that show to death. It's so good. With a really good set of voice actors, too. Like, as soon as I found it, I'm like, alright, everybody likes this. My art teacher, her background on her computer was literally a screenshot from Over the Garden Wall. And I was like, alright, she's cool. She has a few things around here that I think are awesome. So I looked it up and I saw the voice talent for it. Elijah Wood and uh, Christopher Lloyd. And I'm like, you've already sold me. Are you saying that Doc Brown and motherfucking, Bilbo Baggins? No. Whatever, the guy from the Lord of the Rings. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I've seen the original Lord of the Rings, and I've seen the Hobbit movies all the way up until the very last one. Then I didn't really care. But what? But both those guys, I'm like, those guys are really good. I like both of them a lot. And I started watching all, and I got through the whole thing. Fucking watch it. It's amazing. Uh, the Spawn animated TV show. God damn, I love that show. It's so insanely good. It's one of those shows that once you start it, you're in for a ride. It did not deserve to be canceled at such a short period. It was an amazing show, insanely good voice acting. It was much more serious than the comic books that it's based on, because I have the first book, I haven't gotten the rest, I want to get the rest, I love Spawn. And then past that, there's a few shows that go past it. There's still a lot that I want to get into just because of how ridiculous it is. The older the show, the weirder it is to get into it. Like, if you wanted to watch SpongeBob, you should watch the first season all the way up until where the first movie was. When the first SpongeBob movie came out, watch all the way up until then watch the movie, you're done. You don't have to watch past that. If you wanted to, there's so much stuff that I could talk about. If I wanted to make a video about the cartoon shows that made my childhood awesome, I haven't even talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Jesus fucking Christ. Nice, but how long is this video got? 24. Yeah, I think my next video might be about like the cartoon shows that I thought kicked ass as a kid, but it might just be repeats of whatever I'm saying now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, this started out with me having a prompt that just said predicates question mark and then fucking with my friends. I don't know where it goes from there, but I'm gonna keep it where it is. It kind of went off on a tangent. But let's just know that all of this started out with me telling them to watch shows and then finding out that I didn't watch those shows, and it pissed them off so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it there because I don't know how to end videos after so many of them. So Have a nice day. Eat your vegetables. Wash your hands or I'll fucking eat them. Yeah. If you're not gonna keep your hands clean, they're gonna be in my stomach. I will fucking eat your hands. That's how your day's gonna end. It was a nice video about my about how I mess with my friends and childhood cartoons, and then it devolved into a threat about me eating your hands. Put that on your tagline. Have a nice day. Keep your hands clean, or I'll fuck you up. RedSon setting. Bye.